across different sectors and ministries and help us to coordinate our actions. And
okay. Let me ask Taiwo, in terms of responsibility for making the narratives and the discussion coherent and directed at achieving something substantial, who should we be looking at? Is it the civil society organization on climate change and environmentalists like yourselves? Or should we be looking at government establishing a body that would help to channel the conversation and change the narratives?
Yeah, definitely the government cannot do it all alone, and that's where the civil society needs to come in. They can do it, they need to work hand in hand, but more should come from the civil society, because definitely the government, they are there just doing their normal thing, but the civil society should come, even the experts, you should be able to put it on the table. This is what is going to happen in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years. And that is why the experts are coming together. And luckily, every year we always have the expert, the civil society. In fact, there's always a special section for the civil society and expert, and so not only the government. So, by belief, there should be a kind of partnership. The government, the civil society, and the experts should be able to work together. They should be able to work hand in hand. Because the government, we always rely on the expert. Then the civil society will always fight for the cause that this is what we want, this is how it should be. So the civil society should do more.
So how do you rate the level of passion amongst Nigerians, the average Nigerian, in terms of saving the environment? Do you see any passion at all?
And like I told you, it varies from region to region, from state to state. If we are looking at Lagos State, for instance, every year we have the Lagos State Climate Change Conferences. So what the government is trying to do is trying to bring it down to the grassroots. Like I told you, the local government, every local government participates in this conference, and they go back, and that was why one out of them was able to set up the unit, and the unit that was set up, you even have other local government coming to learn from them, or in some local government, they don't have a complete unit, they put that under the environment unit, just like the way federal government is doing. They just create a department, or this should be under the Ministry of Environment. But when you look at awareness, yes, definitely a lot of awareness is coming. We could remember some years back in Lagos, there was this heavy rainfall one Sunday, that in fact Lagos State was almost below the sea level. So a lot of awareness is coming up, and if you look at the Ministry of Environment, they try to do a lot. They create a lot of awareness, and like I told you, if you go to schools, you have the climate change club, but how effective are they? In most cases, it's the first day they launch the climate change club, and after that, you don't get to see.
I was just thinking that, okay, there has been climate change summits, there have been, you talking about awareness, but does this really translate into behavioral change for the people? And I would like to add this, just I think 3 days ago, I was driving behind a man, and from his car, apparently he had bought some things from an eatery and he had finished, and then the entire bag, he dropped it on the road. And I'm wondering, does this man know the effect of, I tried to, get close to him and say, you just dumped that. How is he going to live there? And he just looked at me and he went away. So is there a change in the attitude of the people towards the environment?
We are far from it. But yes, like my colleague did say, there's been a lot of efforts to raise awareness in Lagos, in some other parts of the country, in Delta State or Osun State, a number of them. Also, there's been hyped activities, especially, unfortunately though, especially when we have incidents of extreme weather events, like we had the flooding and the kind of rainfall that you talked about in Lagos. So it jolts the consciousness of the average citizen to say, hey, wait a minute, what's happening? And then governments and NGOs and what have you take the advantage to ram it down and say, look, our world is changing, and we are part of the reason why it is changing. This is how you affect. But if you were to ask me, I think that the level of information available out there is still pretty low. And when you have, and then again, there are people who are informed and would like to do the right thing, but there's no service delivery to support that. There's no utility support to make that happen. We come to a state like Lagos State that is trying to do a lot in terms of its waste collection and what have you. Unfortunately, people come into Lagos in droves every day. So even if you can even say, hey, stop, and you make everybody in Lagos become conscious and aware and lover of the environment, the fact that you're going to have new set of people coming into the state the next day makes it difficult to. So this thing has to be done at the nationwide basis. States have to take responsibility to provide information, awareness, help people to see how they impact on the environment and how the environment in turn impact on every aspect of their lives in terms of their economy, their health, their social well-being, security, safety and all of that. So yes, the awareness is still low. There's a lot to do. However, I think that government, first at the national level and state and local government level, it needs to help advance the cause more. Government at the national level needs to help moderate the conversation such that everybody knows that something is happening. We are part of what is happening and we can be part of the solution.
Okay.
And it's important we do
your
that.
final word. I'll take that as your final word. What's your final word? What would you be saying to Nigerians? Because Mr. Arugbabu was focused on the government. What would you be saying to Nigerians?
There's a need for us to care about the environment, because the environment is the only place we have. We have no other place. So if we destroy the environment today, we are going to go down with the environment. So the earlier, the better now.
Okay, thank you very much, Tawa Adewale, an environmentalist, and Mr. Sulaiman Arugbabu, environmentalist as well. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I guess the conversation is not over yet. We will have to make sure that we continue to talk about this. The more we focus on it and discuss it and create a level of awareness, the more likely the Nigerians would focus on it as well and create that understanding of the issue of environment and the word is sort of like getting choked in my thought. Yeah, climate change, so that we have that understanding and we focus on it.